Robert, this is Victoria. We're going to share our story of our child and vaccine injury.
So we wanted to share our story because whenever people think about vaccine injury, they're thinking autism. It's always autism or something neurological. Well, with our son, it was a skin disease. It was an autoimmune attack on his skin. When Brensen was born in 2008, he was a normal vaginal birth. Everything went great, perfect APGAR scores. Immediately latched on nursing perfectly, and the first 2 months of life were uneventful, completely normal breastfeeding patterns. I could put him down to sleep at night. Everything was great. Well, we went to his 2-month first appointment, and that's whenever they had 6 vaccines on the table. And I remembered my daughter only having 5, so I asked what the 6th one was, and they said it was rotavirus. I had never heard of that, so I rejected that immediately, and he ended up getting 5 shots that day. By that night, he was completely not himself. I could not put him down. I could not stop nursing him. He was uncomfortable. He would grunt. He had stomach issues. Like, he just was completely uncomfortable. I thought immediately, he's reacting to something in these vaccines. Like, my immediate thought was that. But I knew, I kind of squashed that, and I knew that other people had had their kids not feel good for a couple of days, and so I was like, okay, well, maybe they'll go away. Well, pretty much from that point for 6.5 years, he was up against me, like every day, all day long, because he had to be comforted 24/7. After that day of his 2-month vaccines, within days, he broke out in the most horrible cradle cap I've ever seen on his head. Only it wasn't just cradle cap, it was like oozing, like his hair started falling out. Then he began to break out in the creases of his arms, his ankles, the backs of his legs, the creases of his groin, the creases of his neck, behind his ears, and had a slight rash across his face. And at first I talked to my mom about it, even though I was already convinced at that point it was vaccines. But I talked to my mom about it. She's like, well, you're not washing him good enough. You're leaving, it's dirty in between his creases or something. And I'm like, no, I'm washing him pretty well. So I decided to make an appointment with our pediatrician. First thing out of my mouth, I think he's reacted. Like, I knew, but I wanted to say I think so that I wouldn't be attacked right away. And they're like, no. They get eczema at this age. It just happens. They get eczema at this time, and the cradle cap will go away. Well, it didn't. It lasted for, actually, he still kind of has it a little bit on his head even today. So from that point, there's a whole lot of things that happened, but I'm going to give you a quick run through of 6.5 years. Basically, we were on our own. We were ostracized by my pediatrician's office. Their demeanor immediately changed toward us. Any concern we had was just utter garbage. And they were like, oh, well, here's some steroids. He needs steroid cream. I'm like, he's 6 months old. At that time, by the time I started getting really angry, he's 6 months old. Steroid cream, I know that is extremely harmful. And they even told me it was harmful. And keep in mind, at this time, they are still trying to convince me to vaccinate. Which, and I wanted to say at that 2-month appointment, his normal breastfed bowel movements, which are normally like yellow and explosive, green, frothy, painful. I couldn't be without gas drops. I had 5 things of gas drops on me at all times. His digestive system completely changed. He looked like he was set on fire. The rash spread. People asked me if he was a burn victim. People were scared of us when we went out in public. They told us to keep our contagious kid at home. If you can believe that, people said that to us. We were thrown from specialist to specialist. Nemours, Mayo Clinic, you name it, we've been there, done that. Everybody was like, oh, well, we just need to shut off his immune system. Here's some steroids. Oh, steroids could kill him, but here's some steroids. So we pretty much realized that mainstream medicine was not going to work. And so basically began our hellish nightmare of going into tremendous debt, being all alone, trying to save him holistically. Chiropractors, NAET, crocodile balm from New Zealand, special cream that's guaranteed to work, you name it. We tried it, and all the while I'm living in a recliner holding him day and night, nursing him as much as I can. I had to strip my diet down to chicken, rice, fruits, and vegetables, and water. That's what I lived off of for 2 years so I could nurse him, just to try to save his leaky gut. His digestive system was completely wrecked by what I believe was the hepatitis B vaccine. He's healed now, but that's a whole nother story, whole new video. But I'm just telling you now that if you do not do the research, and even now, 8 years into it, I still research. I still educate myself. I'm still looking for knowledge. You can't research enough. It's not just enough to look at a cdc.gov website and go, oh, well, they said it's fine. No, constantly, constantly, constantly. Because I'm telling you, once it happens, you can never go back. You can't, and you're all alone. Nobody will believe you. It's a lonely, dark road. And only just now people are starting to wake up where you might have some friends and somebody to lean on. So it's not just autism that can ruin your life. It's autoimmune disease, it's skin disease, it's digestive leaky gut. I mean, his hair was falling out. He couldn't even grow hair. He would itch so bad, I would have to bring towels to bed to soak up the blood. 3 hand towels a night.
Couldn't even go to hotel rooms. We'd have to bring our own sheets.
We'd have to bring our own sheets to hotel rooms. Because blood would be all over the bed. All over the bed. I'm not exaggerating.
Poor baby.
And nothing could help. And then, of course, that morning, he's a raw, bloody mess, and he reeks of rotten blood. So you have to shower him, and of course, he's raw. So I used to have to hold him in the shower while he rinsed him off, him screaming and violently shaking because it hurt so bad. You know, so please don't think that I'd rather my kid not have have autism than have the measles. Let me tell you, it ain't just autism. Your whole life can be destroyed. Your child can never know what it's like to be a normal child because you just trusted someone who won't be there when it all goes south.
It's not just that, it's all the allergies and the
Oh yeah, and
sensitivities.
allergies. I forgot about that. There was nothing he could eat.
You can't go to restaurants, you
Can't go to restaurants, can't eat at nobody's house.
birthday parties.
If they have carpet in their house, forget it. We were isolated. We were so alone. I mean, a lot of it is autism, but what I'm saying is there's others.
Right.
And that's what I hate about every argument is, well, it's been proven vaccines don't cause autism. I don't believe that, but the bigger problem is that it causes a million other things.
Right.
And it robs you.
Well, it suppresses your immune system.
It
so
does.
For starters, you're open
It
up
does.
to a world of
Yeah.
chaos.
And the doctors don't know what to do. We
Right.
actually, yes, we went to Nemours and the doctor came in and she looked so irritated. She goes, well, I'm just going to let you know now, you're lucky I'll even see you.
People don't
And I
have
looked at my husband and I said, well, you're the specialist. They sent us to you. You're supposed to specialize in this. She goes, well, none of us know what to do about eczema. So you're lucky I'll see you.
Wow.
And then it was, here's some steroids. Here's some steroids. Here's steroids. Oh, steroids could kill him, but here's some steroids. Oh, it could stun his growth and cause all kind of problems. Here's some steroids. That's all we got was
Might need a liver
steroids.
transplant.
Right. And there, of course, is some privately funded natural group of somebody paying you to make this and warn people right now, right? I mean, there's obviously something in this for you.
No, yeah, exactly. What do I get from this? What do we get from this? We're ostracized. We're left alone. In all my medical care, I have to take care of out of my pocket. We were in incredible debt because this slammed into our life all of a sudden like a freight train. And we're like left picking up the pieces. And of course, no insurance will pay for anything other than status quo Western medicine. If we would have done the steroids, we would have been fine.
Right.
But no, all the treatments and special things and the Manuka honey and probiotics, that's my number one thing, probiotics. The special food, it was nothing to drop $600 on supplements to try to heal him.
Yeah, absolutely. So then why make this video?
To warn others.
Because if anyone would have come out and said, hey, vaccines, may be causing these things, or did you know glutaraldehyde was in vaccines? I would have been like, hold up, wait a minute, what? Because I was a surgical tech and I had to be practically hazmated to deal with glutaraldehyde, which is a high potent sterility agent. In fact, they didn't even let us use it unless there possibly could have been like a really harmful disease that somebody had. Otherwise, we use the autoclave. So glutaraldehyde, I'm having to be like masked, plastic mask, head thing, booties on my feet, full gown to deal with. It's in the DTaP vaccine. Glutaraldehyde, look it up, sterility agent.
Injected.
Why would we inject this in a brand new baby? Why? Why would we do
or
that?
any human.
Why? You need to know. Nobody told me. Nobody. I did what my mama did. I did what my grandmama did. And when they were born, I took them to my doctor, and the doctor took care of them, and it was a well checkup. I now say they're sick checkups.
Right.
Because I don't even go to them. My kids don't even go to them because they're sick checkups. You want a sick kid, you go to the sick checkups.
Yeah, and one thing that a lot of people don't realize now too is that they say, well, my grandmother had vaccines or whatever, but most people don't realize how incredibly ridiculous the number of vaccines kids are given these days. I believe it is over 50 doses by the age of 5, maybe even over 60.
And it's not even just that though. It's the type of vaccines. What the vaccines are grown in. It's honestly a deep rabbit hole.
Right.
There isn't enough time in the world to explain all of the corruption and terrible things that I uncovered trying to save my own child.
But people just need to look.
So exactly. And that's why the education never ends. It is not enough for you to go, well, I looked at this. Well, there was that study that came out that said vaccines were safe.
And don't let family
It
sway
isn't
you.
enough.
Do your own research.
Yes. Family and friends, they're not going to be with you in the dark hours of the night. When your child's crying or bleeding or having that meltdown, they're not going to be with you. They love you, but they're not going to be there. It's nothing like being the parent of the child that you ruined. It's not worth it.
And the doctors definitely won't be there.
No, I can attest to that. We were like, oh, you're one of those people that don't vaccinate? Okay. That's kind of how it was. It was horrible. It was utterly horrible.
Well, we are grateful to see that there are so many medical providers, nurses, registered nurses, all kinds of medical professionals that are coming out now that are saying, hey, I admit I never knew this and I'm going to look into it. So we are very grateful for those medical professionals.
And I would have been one if I wouldn't have had to be my caretaker to my child 24/7. I was on my way to RN school from Surge Tech school. But then I realized ethically I could never, because I was going to be with children and pregnant mothers.
Right.
And I would have never been able to inject them. And I would have lost my job. So, I'm very grateful that there are people willing to stand up, but mine was snatched out from under me because I became my child's caretaker.
Right.
By the very medical field that I wanted to be involved in.
Right. Well, we appreciate you guys sharing your story.
Thank you so much.
No problem.
Thank you.